and welcome to the Salida Scene, where we get to the heart of what's happening. With me today is Mayor Jim Levici.
Hello, hello, hello.
What would you like to start with today?
Well, today I want to start with the weather report. Since I said it last week or last month, Monarch had 12 inches for the last 48 hours, which is good. And I just want to make sure that all the skiers and all the spring breakers know that we're a ski town. And it's only 20 minutes from us, and we get a lot of people up there. So I think they get like 350 inches a year, which is pretty
Natural
amazing.
snow.
It's nice. It's very nice. So
Well,
that's my ski report for today, or my weather report for today.
I think to note on the weather report, although Monarch got lots of snow, there's fantastic mountain biking and hiking right here in town.
Right, exactly. They said we're in the banana belt. We are, because we didn't get any snow here, but they got 12 inches up there.
And a lot more in the Front Range.
Right. I was there yesterday trying to get home, and let me tell you, it was a mess. It was very much a challenge. I think when we talk about, what we're going to talk about here, we don't rehearse. We're not scripted. Last night we were talking about what are we going to talk about today, and just us. It's who we are. So we just want to bring that to you all. So it's just it is what it is. We are who we are. So
and imperfect as we are.
Exactly.
So what are some of the things you wanted to talk about today?
Well, last week we talked about the priorities, or last month, excuse me, and we will have a town hall again tonight, and we plan to have more and more. So the priorities kind of gear the budget and so forth, and we want everyone to be there and get their voices heard. So another thing I'd like to talk about is I met with Mr. Morosco from the Heart of the Rockies Medical Center, and that's our local hospital. And I think it's very important to understand that what a great job they do up there. And some of the up and coming things, they've been working on the dialysis center, and that will be happening, and we're not exactly sure, but that's going to definitely help a lot of people in our community. Another thing he talked about is they will be starting in early April a pain clinic, Dr. James Leak out of Wisconsin. And again, he is going to be moving here actually, so that's very, very good. We also have an internist, integrated medicine. So he's a medical doctor, but he does stuff holistically. So it's kind of a different take on that. Mm-hmm. And he also is going to be moving here to the area. And I think it's important to understand that they service like 30,000 residents from different counties, and this is not Salida specific, but a lot of these people are drawn to our communities because of the quality of life and the rafting and the boating and the hiking and all this kind of stuff. So I think that's very important to kind of note that.
Yeah, I think that the importance of the medical center on our local economy really can't be emphasized enough. The ability, the broad range of services that they are able to offer now for a rural community of our size allows people to come here and stay here, but also brings in folks from the surrounding communities for treatments and things like that.
Yeah, we have people from Alamosa, from Saguache County, from Lake County, Park County, and yes, they can all go to the Front Range, and prior, we all had to go to the Front Range, but that's not the case now. I think they do a great job up there, and it's very comforting to know we have quality health services here.
Yeah, and we're able to keep good folks employed here.
Right, exactly.
Really important.
Another thing I like to talk about is what's happening on Highway 50. This morning there was an article in the Mountain Mail about the Baptist Church, 130 years, and they're moving from downtown to the highway, and it's going to be from 8,000 square feet to 22,000 square feet. So that's pretty amazing. So it's good for them, and it's really comforting to know that that growth is still there, and they feel it's important to have a bigger facility. Another thing is the Amica's Brewery. They're moving in there on Highway 50, and I know they're somehow working with the Micas downtown, and I'm not sure of specifics or names and that kind of stuff, but that's very exciting too, so that's very important. Also, the Pueblo Bank and Trust is going to move on the highway, and it's nice to have more exposure for them on the highway. Within the bank or the previous location, they're going to have the more retail, and from what I understand, some lodging up above that bank. So it's not like one building is going to be vacant. Through my travels with my previous job, you see a lot of these towns that are buildings are empty and,
Right.
it's really kind of tough for them to survive in, very thriving community. Another thing that's happening is Gone to the Dogs. They have another location out there,
Mm-hmm.
very much a dog community, and it's very nice to have them, have a second. It's tells kind of a lot to say about having two here in Salida. The last thing is the 50s Burgers. They're going to open up there, and I know they're going to have burgers. They call it 50. It's not 50 types of burgers as it is Highway 50 burgers.
Right, 50
And they,
varieties.
right. And I understand they're going to have a liquor license and that kind of stuff. So it's going to be another place to go. But I guess there's a lot of things going on in the community. They're excited. Why Salida? There's so many reasons other than just the recreation and all those aspects. But it's very important that we understand that, we're kind of a destination where people want to come to. So.
Yeah, I think that list of businesses, at least it's always positive to see existing businesses growing and expanding in a community.
Oh, no doubt.
Like Amica's. So downtown, they're not going to brew beer downtown anymore, but they'll have more seating, and then moving the brewing part of it out to the highway. So they're just growing,
Right,
sort
right.
of their business capacity. Gone to the Dogs, again, like you said, a thriving local business that's now able to offer more options with an indoor training facility for dogs and doggy daycare and things like that. It's just fun. And then, of course, Jeff and Margie, who've had Laughing Ladies and the Downtown Bakery, and now they're reinventing
Right.
themselves again with 50 burgers. And replacing, I think people had some trepidation and question when some of those national chains closed, when Burger King
Right.
and KFC closed, and so having those be filled with more local or regional businesses is, I think, really positive reflection in our
And it's
community.
a very comforting that, we're a small town, but we offer quite a bit, and it's just very important that people understand that. And to have I drive through some of these towns, and it's chain after chain after chain, and that's not
Right.
Salida. Salida's a whole different quality, a whole, hometown feeling kind of atmosphere. So to me, that's very important.
Yeah, I agree. It's a great part about our community. So I had a couple of questions
Okay.
for you as well. Summer's coming.
Okay.
Daffodils are blooming.
Okay.
So what's your favorite thing about summer in Salida?
I guess the you see all the rafters coming in, and you see the bikers, and we have an area where hiking, and it's kind of, you go to the front range and you see all the cars coming in our direction. That's exciting because you're going against the traffic at that point.
You like that?
That's amazing in itself because they're bumper to bumper, and then if I come back to Salida, it's just the opposite. So that's kind of nice. But I guess just all the activities on the downtown with the concerts we have on the Thursdays, and just the vibrant community where people are excited to be in the town, and locals are happy, and the people are, the businesses are thriving. That's very exciting. So any particular thing, not so much as opposed to just the whole atmosphere of a hometown community where we're thriving and things are going well for us. So to me, that's exciting.
Yeah, I like that as well. And we'll talk a little bit more about that later in the show, some of those
Okay.
actual activities. So getting back more to your role as mayor, what are you most looking forward to working with the council on in the coming months? What things are on the horizon?
Well, some of the things we have, well, we're talking about those priorities, and we kind of rated them and so forth, and now we want the community involvement, and I think that's very important. That drives, like I said, the budget, and the budget, determines what we can and cannot do. So I think the priorities are one of the big issues we need to address, and again, I also thought I wanted to have a kind of a suggestion box, or a couple of them. I'm not sure how we're going to do this or what needs to be done, but I'd like to have like a suggestion box, like where the caboose is there, and maybe where they pay their bills behind our building,
Sure.
and just kind of get input from people and decide, give us an idea even people from out of town, just give us an idea what we could do better. So that's something I'll be working on. I think the fact that we have so many volunteers here that do different things and emphasis and passions, and that's exciting to me. I mean, you can come in Salida and do so many different. So many different things that's out there for people. I mean, you've got people that are walking on the dog, walking their dogs on the Saturday and so forth, and it's just. You could help with the trails. You could help with this and that. So all that stuff is very it's nice to see them out and be part of the community, part of the solution, what's going on. So to me, that's very exciting.
You're right. There are a lot of ways to get involved in Salida, no matter what your passion is.
Right, exactly, exactly. There's a lot of passions out
There
there.
are a lot of passions in our community. And what upcoming projects are on your radar that you think the citizens might be most interested in learning more about this
I
summer?
think one of the things that we're wrapping up now is the Harrington Ditch, and basically that supplies our water system, and it's one of 3 water systems that we have. And it's nice that I went and walked it the other day with Bob Salmi, the Public Works Director, and the Department of Corrections did the work, and they did a great job out there. There's still some issues as far as shoring up the banks and making sure that the flow is proper and that kind of stuff. But that was something that we've talked about for months, and it's nice to get that wrapped up and make sure that it's done properly. So that one in particular, I think they did a great job on, and people on the bank are saying, "Whoa, you could see it.
Yeah.
You could see it. And you can walk on it. It's safe and so forth."
Amazing.
So I think that's one of the bigger things that's going on. Other projects. I think we're gearing up for the summer, because and it's going to be every year. We've got the rafting, we got all that stuff, and the Rotary
Bluegrass on the Arkansas
Bluegrass on the
Memorial
Arkansas,
Day
right?
every
Exactly.
year. Yeah.
And then we have what else we have?
We have Fibark and
Fib Arc,
Art
yeah.
Walk and
Okay.
Bike Fest.
So it seems like every weekend or every couple of weeks we got some major events coming on, and that's exciting for our community. Not only draws people in, but it shows us at our best and our finest. So I
Yeah.
think that's very important. So
Yeah, I think 4th of July is going to be especially fun this year too, because it's the long weekend, and I
Right.
know SBA has been working with some of our staff and the creative district folks, and there's some really fun music planned, and it should be a good time.
it's going to be a great time, and I know the weather's going to hold up since I do the weather report. It's going to be perfect.
I'm pretty sure I can promise that it will rain at some point during the parade on the 4th of July, and then it will clear up and be beautiful
Exactly.
again.
Exactly.
Seems to always work. And I know we have a lot of big public works projects coming this year, and we'll be talking with Bob Salmi later in the show about those. But again, we I think as a city try and do our best to make sure people are aware that these things are coming, but we have a lot of construction projects
Oh, no
coming
doubt.
this summer.
Yeah, for sure.
Alleys, and all of 11th Street's going to be under construction, a bunch of the intersections on Teller, more along the highway, just all over the place. So.
And I think it takes an involvement from all your departments and working together, and understanding that things have to be done, but we're going to make sure they're done correctly. And like Mr. Salmi has said previously, if we're going to tear a street up, we want to make sure we have the sewer and water and all that stuff done.
Do it once.
and not redo it again. So I think that's very important. So.
Yeah. Well, good. Well, thank you for talking with us today.
Oh, sure.
Always
Anytime.
a pleasure.
Anytime.
We'll be right back.
Don't forget to mark your calendars, May 28th and 29th. Bluegrass on the Arkansas is coming to Salida, Colorado.
Welcome back to Salida Scene, where we get to the heart of what's happening. I'm Dara McDonald, City Administrator for the City of Salida, and with me now is Lynette Hartman, our Salida Recreation Supervisor. Welcome.
Thank you very much. I'm glad to be here.
Thanks for coming. So we're going to talk about some of the things that Lynette is involved with the City of Salida, all of our recreation programs and things. So our first question is, our Thursdays at 6 concert series has been so successful in recent years. It's one of my favorite events here in Salida. It's so much fun. So can you tell us more about what you have in store for this year, and if there are any new bands that we should look forward to?
Sure. Our Thursdays at 6 lineup this year, we've got some old bands that everybody knows, and we've got, I think, 3 new bands. And our concert series will kick off on June 9th. Again, it's Thursdays at 6, June 9th. Our kickoff band is Wood and Rain with Articipate. And so I think Bones is excited to bring about 75 people up onto the stage at the band shell, and just have he's got the marimbas, he's got the steel drums, and whoever, I don't know what else he has in store, but it'll be a great kickoff. And then we'll take a break on June 16th for Fibark. And then June 23rd we have a new band called Blue Rooster, and they are out of Crestone, Colorado. And I think they're a 4-piece blues band, so that'll be exciting to see a new band up there. And then you were talking about the 4th of July weekend. We'll kick off that on June 30th with a band called Pint and a Half. It's just a duo.
Sure, local folks here.
Yep, yep.
Duke and Tammy.
Yep, and then after 4th of July, we'll have Alan and Martin on July 7th. And July 14th is the Groove Farmers. July 21st is the Riff. So I think most people know the Riff and are excited to have them come back. And July 28th is Hatfield Hayes Hybrid. And so that's another one of our new bands. I think Bruce Hayes and some of the other guys have gotten together and kind of created a whole new band out of, how they kind of mix up. But it'll be great to see what they've come together with Hatfield Hayes Hybrid. And then our last concert on August 4th is a band called Fembot out of Alamosa, Colorado. And I know it's a very strange name, but they do, it's a female vocal lead, and so she does 80s covers, female vocal lead bands like Pat Benatar and Joan Jett.
How fun.
Yeah, so that'll be fun and really great dance music too.
That's a great variety of musical types, everything from blues to 80s rock and some country mixed in there, so really something for everyone.
Yeah, and the goal is just to get people out and enjoying the weather and enjoying the park and, bringing their own, their picnics and just doing something as a family. And hopefully we'll get some people out there dancing too.
And so I know at that concert series, we'll routinely sort of pass the hat or to accept donations. Now, you get sponsorship to pay for the bands.
Correct.
Right? But so where does that additional money go to?
So the money that we collect during the concerts goes to our Youth Scholarship Fund, and that allows all the youth in Salida to be able to participate in some of our rec programs if they don't have the means otherwise to do that. So they can use the scholarship for swim lessons, they can use it for our field trips that we may have going, they can use it for just buying a pass at the aquatic center. And so it's a great thing just to have that extra funds coming in to be able to pass it around to the youth of the community. And you did mention the sponsorship that we are able to make the Thursdays at 6 happen. And that's a good point to make because we are, right now, as it stands, we are sort of short on our funds to make these bands actually make the concerts happen. So I've got a list of local businesses that we've sent out the application for getting some sponsorship funds. So we'd love to see some more money come in to make that happen.
Well, I think I would encourage any business to sponsor. I think it's a great exposure. You get a huge crowd for every Thursday, rain or shine, and just people having such a positive, good time in the community. Little kids running around, including mine, older folks, just everybody, lawn chairs, picnic tables, running around, playing in the playground. So what a great event.
Yeah, thank you.
So you do notice during that event and others that you have some younger folks who are around helping, and those are the CORE kids. So could you tell us a little bit more about the CORE program and what that does?
Sure. Our CORE program is, CORE stands for Kids Opportunities for Recreational, E is Experience. So this is a program for kids entering 6th through 9th grade in the fall. And it's a volunteer-only program, and it just allows them to gain leadership experience, just a program where they can get involved and be kind of a mentor for some of the younger kids attending the programs. And they're a great help because, I can't do it all, our recreation staff can't do it all, so it's really nice to have them.
So how do you seek those kids to participate in the CORE program?
Good question. So we have an application process that the CORE kids can go through. So we will have our applications available, Monday, April 4th, and you can get those on our website or at the pool, or just by calling me, and I can make sure I get one out in the mail to them if they want. We only take about 15 core kids, and I know we'll get plenty more, plenty of applications. So we do go through an interview process for them.
That's great.
Yeah, and again, just getting them used to the idea of kind of applying for a job, you know,
Right.
even though it's volunteer, it gives them that experience.
Well, that's great.
Yeah, so I'm excited to have them, and I know there will be some returning kids, so they can kind of tell me how things run. how to run
It's your first summer
Yeah,
here in this
exactly.
position, right? Okay, well, switching gears a little bit, can you tell us about some of the things we should expect summer programs at the Aquatic Center?
Yes. The first thing I'd like to make note of is that we do have 2 pool closures early in the summer that are happening. May 1st through the 7th, the whole Aquatic Center will be closed for our spring cleaning and maintenance. So we want to make sure that we get that on everybody's calendar so they're not running to the pool. I did that last October, and I got the
Disappointed.
kids all loaded up in the car, and we get there, and darn, it was closed. So May 1st through the 7th, and that's a Sunday to a Saturday, and then we will reopen on May 8th, and that's Mother's Day. So we're having a free swim day for all mothers on Sunday, May 8th.
Great.
And then we will have another closure for the pool on June 10th through the 12th, and that's for the swim team to have their annual Alicia Levitt Memorial swim meet. So with those closures out of the way, then June 2nd is our kickoff to the summer, our kids' free swim day. And so that will be Thursday, June 2nd, and it's from 1 to 4 p.m. And we'll just have, with the core kids, we'll have them doing all kinds of games. We probably have a diving contest. We'll have lots of food and snacks for the kids. And
It sounds like mayhem.
yes, I know.
That's great.
When you get that many kids together, it always is.
Perfect.
Yeah, and then so that will just kick off our summer, and then throughout the summer, beginning June 6th and ending August 11th, we've got 5 sessions of swim lessons happening. And so that is, I mean, that's amazing that we can get that many instructors to make it happen. And then, I mean, those swim lessons fill up. So it'll be great that, you know, we can get all of our kids used to the water, and I mean, especially since we live in a town where there's the river, and got to make sure that our kids are safe.
Yeah, I love that about this area. I grew up in an area that had lots of fresh water and close to the beach as well, big rivers, and so everybody swam. But here, you know, you have the Arkansas, which could be potentially sort of intimidating for kids.
Yeah.
So to have everybody have access to swim lessons here in Salida is a pretty great resource for our community.
Exactly. And then along with that, I would like to at some point this summer, or maybe in the spring if we can get it going, is I'd love to get like a basic water safety course going at the pool, and maybe a swiftwater rescue clinic with Rocky Mountain Outdoor Center. So
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
certainly
just
a lot
sort
of
of
demand for that in our area.
Yeah, just taking those swim lessons and just kind of getting up to a higher level of safety.
Well, cool.
Yeah.
So we've had some really successful recreation programs in the past. Can you tell us what ones we can expect to see again this year?
Yes, we are going to repeat our Babysitting 101 course, and that's going to be great because, you know, again, like you said, with the mayhem of having all those kids, we need some experienced kids, some experienced teens to help, you know, our community keep our kids safe. So Babysitting 101 course will kick off on May 31st, and that'll be a 3-day course, and with Pat Lucero. We are going to bring back our park and pool events, and those are just a chance for the kids to, you know, swim at the pool for a little bit and then go outside and play at the park, and just kind of a little bit of everything. And we are going to bring back our Salida Cycles program, and those are just, you know, 3 days of kids on the bike path, and this isn't, you know, on, you know, single track or anything, but just
Right.
getting kids on their bikes and getting just being out on the bike path and stuff.
Well, I think that's a great dovetail with the 4th grade safety program that happens on bikes for Longfellow, and then the encouragement that everyone is trying to do to get more kids walking and biking to school safely, and so, you know, helping them to feel more comfortable, because not all kids have the opportunity to get out and ride safely all the time. So
That's
that's a
right.
great program.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. I love biking, so.
Perfect.
The other thing, we've got our farmers market kids. So one Saturday each month at the farmers market, we'll have our core kids out there just, you know, doing fun games, tie-dye, and all kinds of art projects with the kids in the park. And then we've also got our community track meets that we do every year. So the first one is May 23rd, and then June 27th, and then July 18th. So those will be out at the high school track.
Great.
And then, let's see, our Rockies Baseball Skills Challenge, which I've never done
What is
before,
that?
obviously. I'm not sure. So, but we will figure it out and let you know when that will happen.
Perfect.
Christy she's like, don't forget about the Rockies Baseball Skills Challenge. I'm like, okay, so we're going to make that happen.
Sounds good. Anything else that you want to tell everyone about today?
I just wanted to just say that I've got a few programs kind of up my sleeve that I would really love to implement this year, some new programs. Actually, some are returning and some are new, like I was talking about the Swiftwater Rescue course. I would love to bring back a youth-based basketball and volleyball camp.
Great.
And maybe have that run by some of the high school kids on those teams. So we'll see if we can make some of those things happen, but we've got plenty for the kids to do without adding more.
Kids and grown-ups, kids of all ages, really.
Yes, yeah.
Well, good. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Lynette. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
Well, thank you.
And we'll be right back with more of what's happening here in Salida.
A bunch of starfish have washed up on the beach. These people are walking along and they see this person who's picking up starfish one at a time, and he's throwing them into the ocean. And they come up to him and they say, "What are you doing?" He says, "Well, if they go back in the ocean, they can live. If they stay on the beach, they'll die." But they say, "But look at all the starfish on the beach. There's no way you can make a difference with all these starfish." He says, "I'm making a difference in this starfish's life."
Oh.
And so one starfish at a time. You're my starfish.
I'm Natalie Moore, and I'm part of the Chaffey County Mentor team.
My name's Kenny Wilcox, and I'm part of the Chaffey County Mentors team.
Hi, I'm Kirsten Love, and I'm part of the Chaffey County Mentor team.
We are Chaffey County Mentors.
You can provide youth a one-on-one relationship with Chaffey County Mentors.
I got involved with Chaffey County Mentors because I wanted to do community service, and I thought to myself that the most impact is going to be a one-on-one relationship. And so that's why I chose the mentor program.
To me, being a mentor is a real commitment. It's something that you really do want to make a difference in a child's life. And it's also committing yourself to a wonderful relationship. It's not just having somebody to go hang out and do stuff with. It's being there to talk with, to share things. And not just from the mentee to the mentor, but from the mentor to the mentee.
Well, over the past years, we've learned how to respect others and to not judge as much, and to, she's taught me a lot about art because I like art, and to inspire me to do what I want, and she's helped me a lot with that.
Like Oren said, it's not just hanging out or having fun, it's having someone to talk to. A little while ago I was not doing too good in school, so Oren kind of encouraged me to do my homework and get my grades up, and I ended up doing just that. Mentors are kind of the way to have fun with someone.
I think the biggest impact you can make on a community and on an individual, and hopefully their family and school, and it just continues to give and to give. And it's so endearing, so heartfelt to meet someone, not know them, and develop such a trusting, compassionate, loving relationship. And we're kind of best friends at different ages, and that's really nice. And it just gives me just the warmest, fuzziest feeling in my heart. And I call Thursdays date nights, because that's when Nancy comes over, and that's my favorite day of the week.
Dante has heard a lot of things about me and about when I was a kid and as an adult, and we share real easily. Being a mentor with Chaffee County Mentors is really wonderful in that all the support we get. I like, in addition to the activities the two of us can go to, whether it's ski day or miniature golf or movie night or hike, there's a wonderful support for the mentors. And when we get together with other mentors, we share things about what's working, what's not working, and it's great support. And we have trainings in all the different aspects of what it is to be a mentor. They're just incredibly valuable and give you great tools as a mentor to be effective.
For our mentors, we provide a comprehensive training before you're matched, ongoing team support, and resources from our organization and community. We serve youth ages 7 to 21 across the entire Chaffee County area.
From Buena Vista
To Salida.
a little time can make a big difference in one person's life, and probably yours.
So you can provide a meaningful relationship with a one-on-one partnership with Chaffee County Mentors.
We believe in the power of mentoring.
Welcome back to Salida Scene. I'm Dara McDonald, City Administrator for the City of Salida, and with me now is Teresa Casey, our Arts and Recreation Director.
Hey, Dara.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. So we're going to talk today about some of the big projects that you're going to be handling this summer.
Yes.
What are they?
Well, I just am so excited to be moving into some great projects that are coming up this summer, and it's one of the things I enjoy most about my jobs is some of the big projects. And so the Scout Hut is going to be totally remodeled. We actually are out to bid right now for the architect to do that remodel. But if you've been in the Scout Hut, you know that there are definitely some electrical, HVAC, plumbing, lighting,
windows,
energy efficiency issues there. So we are going to be pretty much taking it down to the bones and redoing it. But the most exciting part of it is that we're going to add a big deck on the back side, kind of overlooking the bike path and the trail, so that we can really, help to develop that river view. I know years ago, before either you or I lived here, the river wasn't that pretty to look at.
Right.
But over the years, so many projects have happened, and we've done so much cleanup on the river, and it's just this magnet now. So that's going to be really neat. So the Scout Hut project, we don't want to tear it apart until after the main summer event season is over. So, we need to get FibArc and Fiberfest and all of those, Bike Fest and all those things behind us before we start on that construction. But it will probably take us about a year construction-wise to get that project all complete.
That's exciting.
It's really exciting.
And I understand there's going to be another component added on now to the Scout Hut project.
Yes, very luckily, we are going to be redoing the playground at Riverside Park. It's a great playground as it is, but it has very minimal equipment right now, just some swings and a slide for the older kids, and then just a tiny slide and a few things for the younger kids. So we prepared a GOCO grant, which is Great Outdoors Colorado. So if you wonder where your lottery money goes, please ask me, I can tell you. We prepared a grant for that, and we were recently awarded that grant. So we are going to do a huge playground there, and hopefully those two projects will blend together, and next summer Riverside Park's going to be even better than it is today.
I think this is a really exciting project. So I know the last several years we've tackled a number of the playgrounds in Salida, and we've used the city's allocation of lottery proceeds to do that each year, and that's about $50,000 a year. But to leverage that, and I think we're actually using $60,000 of the city's money this year, and then leveraging that with the GOCO money. So we're ending up with, how big is this project for this playground?
Well, we actually have, so we got $140,000 from the grant from Great Outdoors Colorado, The city CTF fund, which is the Conservation Trust Fund, which is where our lottery proceeds go. We also got $10,000 from Chaffey County government.
Yes.
Also out of their CTF funds.
Thank you, commissioners.
And, yes. And also Live Well Chaffey County gave us some money. So we have about $214,000 to do this playground, which is a great amount of money. I can't thank our funders enough for doing that. And the city, several years ago, the Parks and Recreation Advisory Committee said, you know, we just really need to redo all of the parks in Salida, all of the playgrounds. So they came up with a plan, and we went to City Council and proposed that each year we spend $50,000 of our Conservation Trust funds to redo playgrounds. And the council committed to that. And so far we've done several playgrounds, and really Riverside's the big one.
It is.
So we're really, it's going to be a lot of fun, and we are going to do some more public meetings before we move forward with that project, just to see what comes up.
Yeah, I think people, just recognizing the new playgrounds in Chisholm and in Marvin and in Centennial Park, those all cost about $50,000. And so we have 4 times that amount of money to create something really fantastic, I hope, in Riverside Park, which is probably our most heavily used park and playground. So it should be sort of our signature thing, but I think it's going to be just a great amenity for kids in town.
Yeah.
But talk a little bit more about the public involvement as we go through the planning process for both the Scout Hut and the playground, and how you'd like to get input.
Okay. Well, the Scout Hut also, we got a very nice grant from the Department of Local Affairs, $311,000, nice grant. And in order to get that grant, we did some planning, and we also got another grant from DOLA to use some college students from CU to help us do a master plan for the Scout Hut. So they came in and they held public meetings, and we also talked to all of the user groups, the Contra dancers, the Arkansas Valley Music and Dance, the Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts, all of the people who've been really regular users of the Scout Hut, to get their ideas and thoughts about what to do with the Scout Hut. And they had, each group had something in particular to them. The Contra dancers are like, oh, keep the floor. We love this floor. It's the best floor for dancing that we have. The Scouts are really concerned about having a nice meeting space and being able to store their camping supplies. So that group of students worked with the staff, both Kevin Crowley from Public Works and myself, and we put together a really nice plan, and that's really what we used to go for the grant, and were awarded that grant. We've also been working with the Salida Rotary Clubs, who have committed to raising $100,000 also for that project. And I think they're really close to getting there. We still need some funds for that, but we're getting there. And they have done a great job. They also applied for a grant, which is the Daniels Foundation grant. Right. And they got $45,000 grant. So that's also going to the Scout Hut. The City of Salida committed to $209,000 out of the capital improvement budget. So we're doing a project there that's a little over $600,000. But I think when it all is said and done, it will serve the community for 50 more years.
So yeah, all told, we're committing over $800,000 to the park and the Scout Hut and the playground, but the majority of that money is actually, like you said, only about $200,000 from the city's general fund. So it's pretty amazing that you've been able to go out and leverage all these different funding sources to create, an $800,000 amenity for our citizens for only $200,000 of expense to our citizens.
Yeah, yep, it's
so, well done.
Those are the fun things in life, absolutely.
Yeah, that's great. So again, about the public involvement in planning.
Yes, so we did have that public process leading up to the master plan that was developed, but we want to, now that we've gotten the grant and now that we're going to start to move forward, and hopefully we'll have an architect on board middle of the month next month, we'll go to council with that. We will have another public meeting or two to be sure that now we've committed this money, and we just want to be sure that we don't miss anyone, any user group. So there will be more public meetings with that, as well as the playground. And then the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board will also be at the bid opening for the playground and they'll help take a look at the playground. What'll happen with that is it'll go out to bid, and then we'll get lots of people, we think you should have this and this and this, and then the committee will look at it and make sure that we have enough amenities, and we want tall slides, and we want fun swings, and we want music, and we want art, and different things incorporated into the playground along with a river theme. So we don't have very many wants on that. So we will definitely, and if anyone out there would like to volunteer or like to come in and look at plans, the Scout Hut plan is on the City of Salida's website under projects. So you can take a look at that there. And if anyone has questions, they're welcome to call me at the pool.
Great, great. So how do the Scout Hut and the playground improvements fit into the other improvements that have happened in the last decade, like the Whitewater Park and the trails along the river and the amphitheater and all of those things?
You said it earlier that Riverside Park really is our jewel park. And these are kind of the last, I think, kind of the last couple of pieces of major infrastructure to go into that park. But people are drawn to the river, and people are drawn to the park. And our park rental usage, as you know, we're busy almost every weekend. If it's not a major festival or event, it's a wedding. Lots of weddings downtown. In fact, it's fun to sit at restaurants downtown, and all of a sudden you look out and there's a bride and a groom walking down the street with the photographer behind them.
Right.
So I think that many years ago the river was a scary place, and kids weren't allowed to go there and play. And because of people in the community who came here to do things like kayaking and rafting, and then people like yourself that came here and applied for GOCO grants, I don't know, you might know off the top, but that river park is largely paid for with GOCO grants as well.
Absolutely.
So we've really been able here in Salida to leverage GOCO money and to keep that, as you said earlier, kind of off the backs of the citizens. But downtown has become just such a magnet and such a jewel, and the improvements down there continue to help the local economy. I know the bars and restaurants do better because we have a nice park downtown. And because we run nice concert series and events and those kinds of things. So downtown has just really blossomed, and I think Riverside Park is a big cornerstone of that.
Yeah, I agree. I think the transformation of downtown has been remarkable in the last decade to 15 years. You know, it wasn't that long ago that a large number of the buildings were boarded up even and not being utilized, but now it's a premium to be downtown, and suddenly we have a parking problem that we didn't have years ago. So we're working on that too. But
yeah, it's funny. It's funny. We've added all those new parking spaces. The UP lot is full. I had occasion to try to use it a couple of times over the weekend, and I just need to get my bike out.
Yes, it's time to get bikes out for the season, I think. It's spring break too right now.
Oh yes, very busy.
A little busy. Was there anything else you wanted to add about these projects?
I don't really think there's anything to add. It's just that I'm really excited, and I'm really glad that the City Council and the community has allowed me to do these kinds of things and apply for and get these grants. Everybody has helped. It's not all about one person. It's been a community thing.
Yeah, I agree. There's been some really fun energy coming out of the Rotary clubs and other places. And again, if people have thoughts on how these the playground should come together, or particular things about the Scout Hut, please get in touch with Teresa or myself. I know we did run a community survey particularly about the Riverside Park playground, but it's definitely not too late. We are just really delving into the design process now. So get in touch with us and share your great ideas. So thanks. And we'll be right back with more Salida Scene.
Don't forget to mark your calendars, May 28th and 29th. Bluegrass on the Arkansas is coming to Salida, Colorado.
Welcome back to Salida Scene, where we get to the heart of what's happening here in Salida. I'm Dara McDonald, City Administrator, and with me today is Bob Salmi, our Public Works Director. Welcome, Bob.
Hi.
Thanks
good,
for joining
Good
me.
to be back.
Let's start. So we want to focus on what public works projects that are happening. So first, can you update us on what's happening out there right now in Salida?
Well, right now we are replacing some sewer lines that we're really needing replacing. I'm kind of glad that project has gone underway because we don't want any blockages. Earlier we had done some what we call slip lining, and that went very fast. This takes a little bit more time to do, and we're working in the alleys, so it isn't that apparent that we're doing it, but good sewer lines, I think, are important, and we're down by the Woodland Motel and in that area and going to be working across town.
And who's your contractor on that project?
That is Avalanche. They have been doing a lot of our work lately, and they've been lucky enough to get the bid for like H Street last year, and they're going to be starting probably within a week or so to be doing sidewalks around town. Last few years we've been getting a lot of sidewalks done, and this year we'll be doing the same, which is really a good thing. I think we've improved our sidewalks a lot. It is a big walking community, and this year will be the same. We'll be trying to get all of the sidewalks closed up for the weekends, and they won't be interfering with any festivals, but I'm glad that the council has been able to let us keep working on this because I think it's vital.
You know, I was walking down the street with my parents who were in town visiting the other day and said, don't you like the sidewalk? Isn't this nice? And they were like, yeah, it's a sidewalk. But I think people forget, how bad the sidewalks have been around town. We've done a ton of work over the past few years to address some of the issues, and we continue that effort. But it's one of those things that, once it's done, people sort of forget what a big deal it was.
Yeah. No, the sidewalks were very bad, and I'm glad that we've been able to improve them. Now, I used to see mothers pushing baby buggies out in the middle of F Street instead of walking down the sidewalk because the tree roots have pushed them up, and they really couldn't navigate it. So they took their life in their hands and walked down the street. But a lot of that has gotten much, much better. I'm sorry we can't do it all at one time, but we've made pretty good improvements on sidewalks. I'm really very glad that we've been able to do this. It's not cheap, but we've gone forward with it.
So what are then some of the highlights for upcoming projects, your big summer projects?
11th Street is going to be our big project for the summer. We'll be holding a information meeting soon, and we'll be redoing 11th Street all the way from one end to the other, and I think people will see a big improvement. It's one of our worst streets right now, and to be able to take it from one end to the other shouldn't be that bad a project. A lot of the streets have taken a little longer. This one will be good in that we're going to replace the service lines. We won't be having to change out the main. So
for water.
For water, yeah, for water. And there will be some of the cross sections from in the alleyway from one manhole to the other. We're going to be upgrading the sewer lines. That way we don't have to do it later, and if we want to work on sewer lines, they're small. The sewer lines crossing there a lot, some of them are 8-inch, but when they're smaller lines like 6-inch, we need to replace them, and we don't want to cut the street again. So that's why we're doing the work in the alleys too, and that should work out pretty well. So it'll be almost like a continuation of the sewer line project that we're doing in the alleys. It'll be relaying the pipe, and if I hope people will put up with the mess in the alleys for a little bit, but the contractor will do his best to keep up with you and with the people. And we're also doing a lot of work in the alleys. We've been cutting trees down. trying to make it where the garbage trucks and city vehicles and anybody that needs to can make it through the alleys, and the trees have overgrown over the years. And I want to go through and regrade the alleyways.
Well,
and
people have
get them-
tended to extend their storage piles out into the alleys in some cases and things like that. So we're trying to rein that back in, I understand.
Yeah, we've been sending letters out, and the enforcement officer's been telling people that we're doing it. And right now is a good time for them when it's spring break, and we've been getting a lot of calls saying, why do we have to do it? But we want to get the alleys graded, as best we can. I've gotten emails from people saying, will you fill in the hole, or you want to plant fish in the pond we have in the back? So we're trying to pay attention to them. The alleys complete. We tried a couple of years ago to get some done, but we really just didn't have the staffing. So we're trying to contract some jobs out and let our staff stay on them this year. It's my hope that this summer we will get the alleys in pretty good shape.
Well, that's great. So 11th Street, just touch back on that. So that's a complete rebuild. It's going to be pretty disruptive. You're not going to be able, people aren't going to be able to drive down the street for several months. Do you have any idea what the time frame is for that project yet?
Not yet.
Yeah.
Although I am hopeful that it won't be as long as it was on H Street. It shouldn't be as long a project. And we want to get going as soon as we can with it, so we're not working on it in April. I'm hoping that we get it done by the end of August, but that's my hope. There's no guarantees.
So what are some other highlights for this summer? You got some slurry seals coming
we've
up.
got I and J Street will be slurry sealed. We've got a lot of patching that I want to do this spring. The rains came at the wrong time, and the shoulders of the roads and different places in the roads they've kind of fallen apart. And instead of just filling in potholes, I've got a lot of places that I want to get some serious patching done in the roads. So hopefully I can get that out there sometime soon. We want to put a new road on top. We have not ever blacktop the RV park, the RV dump, and this year we can get that done.
I understand you're working on the Crestone. People are going to see some activity up there with the sewer main, and then on Jones Street with some water line looping.
Oh yeah, Jones Street will be tore up for a little bit, but that shouldn't take too long either, because it's not a complete street rebuild. But we do want to loop it, and that shall help. And it'll help to relieve pressure on a real small line that we have out on Highway 50, and that's one of the reasons that we're doing it, is to give better water service to some of the businesses on 50. Plus put the loop in there in case there's a problem. That'll help that. We've got a contractor hopefully going to start soon to do what you mentioned, the Crestone sewer, coming from Mesa Lane, coming all the way down Crestone and coming down near the sheriff department. And that will provide a bigger line, because we're getting a lot of building going on down on the end of Crestone. And before we get too much more down there, we need the line increased, and that's the reason for it. We're going through a big growth period, and it's really straining resources, and we're trying to get things built up. Our parks department is very busy. There'll be more parks. Some of these new developments have parks coming on, and we're going to be having to maintain them. And so our parks department is very, very busy. And this spring we've been very busy also with the tower up on Tenderfoot, and Verizon is ready to turn that on pretty soon, and we'll have really good Verizon reception in town. That made it very good that we put an electric line coming down. We'll be able to get rid of a few of the poles going up there. So anytime you can take something off of the mountain that isn't natural, I like to do that. And I'm not talking about the S though. We'll leave the S up there.
Let's leave the S in the tree.
Yeah. But it really, in a way, it shouldn't have taken that much, but we've gotten a lot of help from the Department of Corrections, laying pipe up there, conduit and such, and it's everyone very busy this spring.
And I'm sure, yeah, we do tend to put a little strain on our cell system here in rural Colorado, so just getting them up there on the tower, it's been a big effort, but hopefully it will help relieve some of that pressure with everyone's smartphones and whatnot.
Yeah, I think that we can probably increase the area off that tower that we get reception and more traffic allowed on the system. So all around, I'm excited. It's going to be a good thing.
Well, good. Any other highlights that you want to talk about? I know there's some work going down in Riverside Park that people might notice with the rebuilding around the band shell.
Oh, yeah, the band shell. Okay. Some of the cement was cracking down there last year, so we are going to replace that before it falls in altogether.
Yep, had some concerns about how that was being undermined, so if people see some construction work happening down in the park, but it will be done definitely before the event season gets started here.
We have high hopes, yes, we do. And we've got a wonderful new trail system people can go down there and look at. It's really neat the way that it follows along the waterway and comes up by the Tauber building. If they haven't been down there, I think they need to take a look.
In both directions, you know, connecting the Tauber building now and McCormick Park there to Riverside Park, but then also a new trail through the backside of Marvin Park, and then down along the river tying into Sands Lake. That's a beautiful section.
Oh yeah, I walked that last week, and I was very glad on Sunday the trail is getting a lot of use, so I'm very glad about that.
Yeah, and lots of fishing access too. It's sort of fun to see all the fishermen down there in that area.
A lot of good things happening around Salida.
Yeah. Well, my last question then for you, Bob, is since we're coming into summer season, what's your favorite thing about summer in Salida?
Oh, camping and taking in the different activities that we have downtown. You know, you were talking to Teresa earlier. I like the Thursday night concerts in the park and such. And you know, I'm not as avid a walker or hiker as I should be, so I'm not going to try to say that.
You're more of an Airstreamer.
Yeah. I'd rather go camping and such, and I'm doing that. So I guess that's my thing for the summer.
Well, I always enjoy seeing you and Lynn at those concerts. It's pretty fun. I like those concerts, I think, even more just because they don't generally get quite as many tourists and whatnot. It really is.
Yeah, you get to see the local folks, which is very nice.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining me today and talking about all the big projects that you guys have going on this summer in Salida.
Yeah, that's been very good. Thank you.
Thanks for joining us again with Salida Scene. We'll be back again next month.